Hey guys, wanted to show you some babies. These are the red marble placots that I showed a very small clip of on New Year's Day where they were hanging from the nest. They're now 5 or 6 days old. And they're doing really good, which makes me happy. If you guys remember, I did 3 spawns about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I filmed those for you guys and posted them up and all that. Well, what happened is, in the first week I noticed that they were dying off. All 3 spawns just dying, and because I use snails, I don't find bodies. I just noticed that, hey, there's not a lot of fry in here anymore. So I couldn't figure out what was causing it. I tested my water. I knew it was not a case of them not having enough or too much food. And I really couldn't figure out what was causing all 3 of these spawns to die off. But it ended up I only had about 3 or 4 survivors from each one, and I tossed them in a tank together, and they're growing out. But I ended up repeating the red marble or koi spawn, and then there's also a Dumbo spawn in here. What happened with the Dumbo spawn is, you might remember from my other video that the male ate the eggs, and when I respawned him, he tried to eat the eggs again, but luckily I caught him and I was able to grab him out before he ate all the eggs. And what I did was artificially hatch the eggs, and I wish I got this on video, but I just didn't think of it at the time. But what I did was I lowered the water level of the tank to about 2 inches, and I added some methylene blue. And the eggs hatched, the fry were free swimming all on their own. They did really well, and I got about 30 fry from that spawn. And instead of just growing them out by themselves, I used a pipette and I collected them out into a cup, and I put them in here with these koi, so that they could all grow out together. And so far I think everyone's doing well. Of course I won't be able to tell who's from what spawn until they actually start getting colors, but once they start getting their color and those Dumbo pectoral fins start to come in, I should have no problem telling these 2 spawns apart. When I was setting up these spawns, I kind of had an epiphany of what might have caused my last spawns to die off. And what I think happened is that I didn't put any salt in the spawn tanks when I set them up. I put salt at a rate of 1 tablespoon per 5 gallons in all of my domestic betta tanks and all of my betta spawn tanks, because I find that if I don't, I get velvet. I don't know what exactly causes it, but I just know that if I don't use salt, I have issues, and if I use salt, I don't have any issues. So that's all the more scientific research I need to know that I need to use salt for my bettas. And with fry this small, I would not have been able to see the velvet on the fry if that is indeed what caused the issue. I can't say for certain it was the salt that caused the die-off or the lack thereof, but that's my best guess. But anyway, that's in the past. This is the present. And these guys are doing really well. They're gonna be a week old on Sunday. So today is Friday, so they're 5 days old now. Yeah, I can't count. 5 days old. They're on microworms right now. I'm actually about to feed them. Gonna start them on baby brine shrimp tomorrow. I'm gonna set up my hatch. Normally I wait till they're a week old, but these guys are growing well and doing well. I think they can handle starting BBS a couple days early. That one fry looks like he's having trouble. He's just kind of hanging there at the bottom, or at the top, I mean. But these guys are doing pretty well. There's a whole bunch of them in here. My camera's not going to focus on them because they're just so tiny, but you can kind of see them scooting around. They're in all levels of the tank. They're down at the bottom and they're at the top among the plants. You can see some back there. The reason my sponge filter's kind of set up like that is just because the air line was a little bit too short and I didn't feel like cutting a new piece of air line, so I just kind of leave it like that. One thing I did differently with this spawn is you'll notice the tank's already filled. Normally I wait till they're closer to a week old to start filling the tank, but because of the issues with the die-off in the last spawns, I decided to be a little bit more proactive, and so I started filling the tank with a half gallon of water once a day, every day since they were about 2 days old. So I filled it up, and then yesterday I did a 25% water change. That's why you see my tank is marked with dry erase markers. So I brought the water down 25% and refilled it with aged water. And I'll continue to do that every day. And then these guys I'm going to be moving into a 30-gallon when they're closer to like 3 weeks old, maybe even 4 weeks. We'll just see. Right now there's a whole bunch of them in here, so I don't want to leave them in the 5-gallon too long, but for right now they're fine. Let's see if I can refocus on some smaller ones. See, they're looking for food. And you can kind of see them nipping stuff off of the duckweed. That's why I love to have live plants, because live plants will harbor infusoria that the fry can munch on. And then you can see I've got my ram's horn snails as usual. One thing I do want to mention is that for the artificially hatching, you want to take the snails out if you do use snails and you decide that you're going to artificially hatch the eggs, because the snails may eat eggs that aren't being guarded by a male. I don't find that the snails bother eggs or fry when I have a male tending, but without a male being close by, I'm not sure that they wouldn't eat the eggs. So when I artificially hatched the Dumbos that are in here, I took all the snails out of that tank. So I may respawn that male one more time. I have 2 Dumbo females, so I spawned him with my yellow Dumbo female, and I would really like to spawn him with the purple Dumbo female as well, which is his sibling. So I may spawn him one more time, and then that pair will probably go up for sale, because I don't need to keep them around now that I'm going to have 2 or 3 spawns worth of them. Okay, that's just a quick update on the spawn I have so far. I've got a couple more spawns planned. I need to repeat this guy's spawn, the marble copper placots. He's probably ready to go. He's got his nest built and everything, but I'm going to give him another week of conditioning. I'm going to try to spawn this red male with his sibling female. I keep trying the reds and they keep not spawning, but I really want to get a spawn before those fish get too old. So those 2, and then as I said, I'll probably do this guy one more time with his sibling female. This female I spawned him to this last time is this girl, who's not related. As you can see, she got a little bit beat up, but she's got really big Dumbo ears. which is why I wanted to spawn her first. And then I'll spawn him with his sibling female next, and I'll artificially hatch those eggs and show you guys how to do that. So, and then there's the father to the red marble placots. Very cute. Alright, that's all for this video. I need to do the tuber tag challenge that Gianne nominated me for, and then I'm probably going to be doing an updated fish room tour type thing pretty soon. So hope you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.